Hey guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, I will be reviewing Jack Reacher right now in this video. Before I actually start my review, guys, I just want to make this one statement. I'm actually kind of glad I postponed making my top 10 movie list of 2012 because Jack Reacher just might make that list. And with that being said, guys, I went and saw Jack Reacher today, December 27th. I'm sorry I saw this movie so late. I wanted to see it before Christmas, but I couldn't get a chance to do so. But at least I did get to see it, and I am very glad. This movie was awesome. I am so glad I saw this movie before I made my top 10 list. This movie just might make that list. At first, I didn't want to see this movie, to be honest. I was making my December 2012 movie guide, and I put this movie in that video, and I said, nah, it doesn't look like it's for me. And I started watching the trailers, and I was starting to really like the movie. I was starting to like this whole idea of the movie. Tom Cruise looked like a badass in the movie, and then the reviews came in. Mostly, this movie's gotten some bad reviews, but then there have been a lot of positive reviews for this movie. This movie has like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is still positive, but, you know, it means it could be better. But, so I decided to go see the movie, and I'm very glad I did. This movie was awesome. It was a great action crime thriller, whatever you want to call it. There were a few action scenes in this movie, and the action scenes that are in this movie are completely awesome. So guys, I want to get right into my review for the movie. First thing I'm going to start talking about is the story. Apparently this movie is based off several books. With Jack Reacher has been the character in several books, and this movie is based off of the book One Shot. I never knew that, actually. I didn't know that this was based off a book, but I kind of want to read the book now because this was a really good movie. But anyway, as for the story, the opening scene in this movie got me hooked into this movie as soon as I saw it. I was like, you know what? This movie is going to be awesome. I loved the opening scene in this movie. It was a great starter for the movie. And it's not as good as some of the opening scenes in, you know, The Dark Knight Rises. It's not as good as the opening scene of The Dark Knight Rises or for The Avengers, but it is still one of the best opening scenes I've seen all year. I loved it. It was really entertaining. But the opening scene, a guy gets into a van, drives into a parking garage. You know, it's a nice, quiet, peaceful day, and pulls out a sniper rifle in the parking garage. Apparently, there's no one in the garage, and he kills 5 people, takes 6 shots, but kills 5 people, and the cops, the investigators, they apparently get the main suspect. They arrest him, and he's on his way to jail or something, I forget, and he gets put into a coma because the guys that he's riding with beat him up, and so everyone thinks he's the killer. He's the one who killed these 5 guys. Meanwhile, this homicide investigator named Jack Reacher, played by Tom Cruise, comes into the movie to work with the attorney for the prime suspect who is in a coma. And the attorney is played by Rosamund Pike. She's that blonde girl that you see in the trailers. And Jack Reacher is working with this attorney who is trying to prove that the main suspect is innocent. Meanwhile, Jack Reacher, he knows this guy. He knows the main suspect. I think they were both in the army or something. And Jack Reacher thinks he's guilty, and he begins to realize that this guy's innocent. And the audience knows that this guy is innocent. We see who the killer is in the beginning of the movie. The camera shows us who the killer is. And we know that this guy who is being accused for this crime didn't do it. We know that the guy who we saw doing it is the one who actually did it. And Jack Reacher, basically, we're waiting for Jack Reacher to realize, to solve this mystery for to find who this killer really is. And it's just a great thriller. It's intense in some parts of the movie. There are some really good fight scenes in this movie, and I just love how the guy who is actually the killer is trying to bring Jack Reacher down. He sends, like, these guys after him. He's trying to frame Jack Reacher. In some parts of the movie, he frames him for killing this other girl that's involved in the movie. It's just the story was really engaging. I enjoyed it overall. And, yeah, that's basically the story for Jack Reacher. I hope I summed it up without confusing you guys. Basically, a homicide investigator is trying to find out who really sniped these 5 people. And this is apparently a random attack. It was just some random guy who just felt like taking out 5 people. But Jack Reacher begins to realize, nope, this is no random attack. There is a reason behind this. And I'm not going to spoil all of that. But overall, I thought the story was very intense in some moments. I like the script writing and everything. And guys, the next thing I am going to talk about is the acting in this movie, the cast. Of course, the first guy I got to talk about is Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher. Tom Cruise, man, in this movie. He was excellent in this movie as Jack Reacher. This is probably one of the best performances I've seen all year. Is it as good as Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln? I don't think so, but it is a very good performance. It's definitely one of the best I've seen all year. Tom Cruise was excellent in this movie. He plays this really intelligent homicide investigator, and he's this guy that is very, not secretive, you can never find him anywhere. Like, nobody knows anything about this guy. Like, he doesn't use credit cards, no one ever sees him, he's always changing his name when he meets people. He's very hidden. And I liked his character. He was this really cool character. And when he begins working on this case, he starts to think of things that no one would ever think of. He goes outside the box. He's a very intelligent guy, this Jack Reacher character. And Tom Cruise played the part excellently. Tom Cruise was great in this movie. The script, some of the dialogue that Jack Reacher had was really, some of it was funny. Just the things he said were funny. I loved Tom Cruise in this movie. And I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. I'm really not. I don't like Tom Cruise that much. I don't think I've ever really seen any Tom Cruise movies. I haven't seen the Mission Impossible movies, but he was really good in this movie. And I really didn't want to see this movie because of Tom Cruise, because I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. But after seeing it, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan now because I liked his role in this movie. I thought he was excellent in the movie. I loved the character Jack Reacher. Definitely, you would want this guy to be a real homicide investigator because he will easily solve any case that he gets. That's how intelligent and smart he is. He's kind of confident, but he's not arrogant. He's just confident. He knows what he's doing. He knows his stuff for sure. And I definitely like the character of Jack Reacher. There are a couple other actors in this movie that I did recognize from other movies, namely Richard Jenkins is in this movie. He plays this district attorney, and he wasn't in the movie a lot. He was in the movie, but, you know, he could have been in a few more scenes. But Richard Jenkins was good again. I like Richard Jenkins. He's a pretty good actor. And like I said, Rosamund Pike, I think I'm saying her name right. She plays the attorney for the accused guy, the guy who's being accused of this sniping crime. And I thought she was really good in the movie. She's that blonde girl. I've never seen her before. Who else is in this movie? Robert Duvall is in this movie. I think he plays this guy who owns this shooting range. And they gave him a couple of funny lines. I like some of his lines that he had in this movie. Robert Duvall, I think that was the actor who played the guy who owned the shooting range. But of course, the character that stands out the most is obviously Jack Reacher. Completely loved his character throughout every single scene he was in. I was interested in what he was saying. He was really kind of cool, you know. I liked his character. And Tom Cruise, man, one of the best performances I've seen all year. And I definitely got to praise Tom Cruise for that. Anyway, a couple other things I wanted to talk about. This movie's rated PG-13. Yeah, I think teenagers can go see this movie. You know, kids under 13, yeah. I mean, kids around 13 and up can go see this movie. Yeah, there's some fight scenes. There is some violence, but, you know, it's really never shown, you know, like, there's not a lot of blood or anything like that. You know, there is some language in the movie, but it's not that bad, you know. PG-13 is a fine rating for this movie. Let me think, a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, the action and the fight scenes in this movie are pretty cool. I would have loved to see a few more fight scenes in the movie, but the ones that were in the movie were really intense. There's this one car chase scene that I was into. I loved the car chase scene that was in this movie. It was intense, and something that can you guys see the poster? you see Tom Cruise holding the gun. Jack Reacher never really used the gun except for the ending scene in the movie. He never really had a gun in the movie. He was usually using his fists. There was a couple of fight scenes that he was in. There was this one fight scene that I thought was really cool. It was this fight outside a bar. I thought it was really well done. And Tom Cruise was really even good in those scenes too. But probably one of my minor complaints with the movie. I'm not going to demote the movie's score. There could have been a few more fight scenes in the movie, but the ones that were in the movie were completely badass, and the ending scene was really intense. I loved it. Very good. And there is a twist in this movie. There is one character who we think he's on Tom Cruise's side, but he's not. He's on the other side. I'm not going to say who it is, but I just am going to say that there is a twist in this movie, and you might have been able to predict it. I didn't, though. I didn't see it coming. I'm just saying that one character flips sides, and he's working with these guys who is working with this guy with the real guy who sniped those 5 people. Anyway, guys, the next thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give my rating for the movie. I think I've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to give Jack Reacher probably an 8.5 out of 10. I would go 9, but some's telling me to go with 8.5. I still would put it as one of the best movies I've seen all year. I probably would. I was really entertained in some scenes in the movie. Like I said, the story was really well written. I thought the dialogue was great. Robert Duvall's character was very funny. There were a funny few lines in this movie I thought were kind of funny, and I didn't expect it, but, you know, those funny lines were in the movie. Luckily, Tom Cruise did a few things that were funny. And then going back to the cast was really good in this movie. The guy from Rise of the Planet of the Apes who played James Franco's boss, he's in this movie. I forgot to mention him. He was important in the movie. But from Tom Cruise to Robert Duvall, Rosamund Pike, Richard Jenkins, they were all great in this movie. But of course, the main guy who stands out is Tom Cruise. Gives one of the best performances I've seen all year. As I've said before, really enjoyed his role as Jack Reacher. What else? The action and the fight scenes that were in the movie were really cool. I was into those scenes. They were really intense. This was a good thriller, you know. And yeah, that's really all I liked about the movie. Now, my only complaints, like I already mentioned, some of the action scenes in the movie, there could have been more. There could have been maybe one more, but that would have made the movie, I guess, a lot longer. Probably would have added another 5 or 10 minutes into the movie. And the movie's length is fine. This movie is about like 2 hours and maybe a little over 2 hours, which is fine. Any shorter, the movie would have been ruined. Any longer, the movie probably would have been ruined. So the length is fine for the movie. And the only other problem I have with this movie is go into this movie and just sit there and try to follow what's going on. But when you get out of the theater, try not to reflect on the whole entire story, because I did that when I got out of the theater. I'm trying to put the pieces to the story together, and I was getting confused with what was going on. I was forgetting, I guess, important plot points. You know, just try not to think too much about the movie. I know this is kind of a stupid complaint, but it's just what happened to me when I got out of the movie. I don't know, it's just not confused with some things that happened, but I was a little fuzzy on, I don't know, some of the plot points. Maybe I forgot what happened. Maybe I missed a few important parts. I don't know if that's me, or I don't know if that was me trying to think about what happened. Just go into the movie, try to pay attention to what's going on. It's not like it's hard to follow or anything. You will get the main idea of what's going on in the movie, but if you get out of the theater and you try to, you know, reflect on the whole entire story and put the story together and try to tell someone the whole entire story, you're going to leave out a few things. You're going to, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. I'm kind of babbling right now, guys. I'm sorry. That's really my only complaint with the movie. There are a few plot points that I am trying to connect, but I can't just connect right. I don't know if it's probably me. I probably needed more sleep. I don't know. I definitely want to watch the movie again. 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Great thriller. I definitely would recommend it. Some people are saying rent it. I would say go see it on a cheap day, maybe. Even if you have to pay full price to go see Jack Reacher, go see it. I thought it was really good. I was entertained throughout. I was engaged. The movie had my interest for sure. 8.5 out of 10. I will most likely buy this movie on Blu-ray. I definitely want to see it again. And this movie is the kind of movie that you gotta see again to really understand all of the plot points and connect everything. Because if you don't pay just the slightest attention in one scene, you might be lost. And I think that's what happened to me. I think I might have wandered for a second and I missed what was going on with one part of the story. So that's just something to be aware of. But guys, Jack Reacher, great crime thriller. I seriously enjoyed it. I do recommend it. And I might put this in my top 10 list. This movie just might make the list. It definitely won't make the top of the list, but it'll make the lower part of the list for sure. Thanks for watching my movie review for Jack Reacher, guys. Sorry if this is so long. And yeah, I'd say go see this movie. Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye. And Tom Cruise, man, excellent job with the performance. I seriously enjoyed it. Great job, sir. Thanks for watching again, guys.